Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.
And a jolly good morning. This is Newsline and broadcasting live from the Newsfirst studios in Colombo. This morning we are greeted with a very important announcement from the Capital Maharaja Group, the owners of this channel, and rather a vast organization, but involved more and more in social service to the rural masses of this country. And I think on the line this morning we are fortunate enough to have Group Director Mr. Shevan Daniel on the line to tell us a bit about this latest announcement from the Capital Maharaja Group. Producer, do we have Mr. Daniel on the phone? Do we have Mr. Daniel on the phone? Good morning, Shevan.
Faraz, yes, good morning.
And Shevan Daniel, could you kindly tell us about the special announcement that is coming up from the Capital Maharaja Group in connection with Gam Madda?
Faraz, good morning. I'm afraid I can't hear exactly what you asked me, but I did hear the word announcement, so I'm going to assume that you asked me about last night's announcement about Gam Madda. Very, very pleased to reiterate the chairman's decision. Mr. R. Rajamahendran, the chairman of Capital Maharaja Organization, made a decision last night respecting the appeals of religious leaders and, of course, the millions of Sri Lankans who have benefited and stand to benefit from the Gam Madda initiative, to extend the Gam Madda program beyond 100 days. Ever since we began the Gam Madda 100 initiative, we've been inundated with requests and appeals for various projects around the country, and we've decided to accept those we've evaluated. And until we fulfill our commitments and our promises to the people, we will continue with Gam Madda and we will not stop.
That's wonderful. Can I quickly ask you, Shevan, what's the happiness indicator like in the rural areas where our Gam Madda program is on?
Well, I'm still on my way to Hambegamur, which is in the Monaragala district, and I can tell you that I'm expecting many thousands of people who benefited from Gam Madda over the past 100 days to be in a very celebratory mood, and myself and my team, of course, would be very, very happy to join them in those celebrations. It's a truly special day for Sri Lanka. It's a day that signifies not just what we've been able to achieve as a nation in the past 100 years, but what it signifies for the future, what it means for the future. I think we're all stakeholders in the success of our nation, and this is a moment in time that we can be very proud of, where everybody, not just Newsfirst or the Gam Madda team, but everybody, those who contributed, the government officials, just the common everyday Sri Lankan who wished us well, everybody, even certain members of parliament, the president, every single person who had some part of Gam Madda will mark today as a special day in the annals of Sri Lankan history, as a day that signifies where Sri Lanka came together and achieved something absolutely incredible using one thing, and that is young, energetic leadership.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you very much, Shevan Daniel, and more strength to you and your team in the pursuit of social justice, really. Thank you very much, Shevan. And on our program this morning is the minister who is very much in the news. He has been for several months, and is likely to be for even more months ahead, because there is growing consternation, of course, as to why there is a delay in local government elections. To explain this, to discuss that favourite subject, the subject of the moment, of the hour, which has been haunting all of us for the last 16 plus months, the Bond issue. And that's nothing to do with the latest Bond film. To talk about this and a little bit more, perhaps, is Mr. Faiza Mustafa. Very good morning to you, Faiza.
Good morning, Faraz. First, I would like to congratulate Sirasa for the government, the program. You have achieved a lot, and I'm happy that your chairman has taken a decision to further extend the program. Because I've been part of your program, I've seen the transformation in the rural masses with regard to what your program has done. So I think you all have headed to areas where politicians have failed. You all have taken social responsibility very strongly, and I think that has paid dividends to the country. And it's happy to note that media channels are transforming rural villages and looking at the needs of the underprivileged. And I think it's a great achievement, and I would like to say where politicians have failed, you all have succeeded.
Yes, this program has transcended political, communal, racial boundaries, and it is truly island-wide. And we are extremely proud to be a small component of this vast network that is the Capital Maharaja Group and their commitment to social issues. It's absolutely marvelous, and very proud to be part of that. And on a personal note, thank you to our chairman for extending this invaluable program, and I know that the happiness levels in the rural areas will go up several-fold. Mr. Mustafa, our program transcends politics and communal, racial divides. Why can't members of COPE forget all about party ideology, the wants of the party whip, and so on and so forth, and why can't they be committed to the truth, purely driven by their conscience? What is the problem? Why are they apparently lacking in a conscience?
For us, I can't speak for what they haven't done, but I could speak what they should do. I mean, when COPE, they are appointed to be independent, they are appointed to take decisions vis-a-vis not take into party considerations or other considerations. They are appointed to do what's just by the country. So let us hope that we will have an undivided COPE report, and that with regard to the bond issue, that justice would be done to the country at large.
Well, yes, Mr. Mustafa, but you're a legal man. Can you answer me this question from a legal perspective?
I mean, COPE is a fact-finding authority.
Yes.
So, I mean, that's the start where any...
Have we, in your knowledge, within your knowledge, do you know of any point in time before where COPE, its members, its chairman, are sort of readying the public for more than one report? Well, that's astonishing information that's reaching the public.
But I think this is the first time that such a controversy has been before COPE. I mean, there have been other instances where irregularities, fraud has been brought up and discussed, but this has been in the public domain for a long time. The public is agitated, politicians are agitated, and I think people are expecting justice. No, I believe
why do you think the public
the perception of this
agitated?
The general public feel that the perception of this transaction, people feel that it's...
You were about to say scandal, weren't you?
Perception.
Right.
I mean, you can use whatever terminology for us. You can use a certain terminology. I can use another.
Of course,
but the issue is for us.
Yeah, the issue is this
as regards to this public perception.
Yeah.
Is that something should be done to put things right?
Yeah.
And even the Sri Lankan Freedom Party has very clearly demonstrated our position that we'll only sign the report where the chairman signs.
Yeah.
Right? So I think, irrespective of party politics, everybody should touch their conscience and work together and bring the perpetrators to book.
Why did you enter politics?
I entered politics for us because I wanted to. I mean, I was very much involved in youth activity, and I believed that I wanted to do something to transform the youth of this country.
Do you have a profound belief, a profound need within yourself to make a difference?
I believe that we should do social justice.
No, what about you? I'm asking you.
I believe so for us. I mean, I entered politics for that reason.
Therefore, when you see, Mr. Mustafa, the goings-on at COPE, You couldn't have missed it because every single
For us,
channel.
I am not a
radio
member of.
channel.
I am not.
You are not a member.
But
of
for
Pro.
us, I
But-
have discussed this issue with the president, and and the Sri Lankan Freedom Party, and as a party, we have an obligation, and the president. What's the mandate he got? We are part.
He's the only one with the mandate.
We want good governance.
Yes.
And this is put things right with
This
regard
is
to this.
poor governance.
This is with regard to if you put things right, is good governance.
Yes.
For us, in every system, there are irregularities which happen.
But how
for
sensible is it?
us, if we put things right, we have achieved good governance. Otherwise, we have failed. There is no point in talking about the transaction per se at that
No, we don't want
point
to
of
talk
time.
about the transaction.
But now the issue is a transaction took place which was not right. The justice system, the political hierarchy has an obligation to put things right, and that is what the country is looking at now.
But instead of all that, we have a situation where the Prime Minister has appointed the central figure in this whole transaction, and which is subject to so much of scrutiny and a want of explanations. He's appointed Arjuna Mahendran to the office of the Prime Minister, apparently, because we see him representing the country with various entourages where the Prime Minister's been, in Indonesia, in Singapore, wherever else it is. Doesn't it send the wrong signal?
For us, that is his prerogative to appoint who he wants. But I wouldn't talk. For us, I wouldn't speak about his appointment. But I would speak about whoever is responsible for this transaction.
Would you appoint somebody as your secretary, somebody who's attracting all negative press, somebody who's accused of various things?
For us,
would you take the chance?
I would appoint somebody in terms of my conscience who I would feel is right. I don't want to get into that controversy. But let's stick to the core issue for us, not with regard to the appointments which have been made.
But this is the core issue. I put it to you that when the Prime Minister decided to split the Ministry of Finance into three parts,
for us,
my
core issue and what is touching my conscience now is whoever is responsible for this scam should be dealt with, because it's a country which has lost, and we promised the country that we would create a transformation with regard to good governance, and if we don't achieve that for us, we have betrayed the masses who voted for us.
When President Rajapaksa took a huge entourage with him to China, and thereafter, that was the beginning, and then into New York, to London and so on, there was a huge amount of consternation that public funds were being wasted. So when the Prime Minister takes a person who the President has deemed unfit, or for whatever reason the President feels he can't give him a new contract to be the Governor of the Central Bank, what sort of message does it send to the youth of our country, to people who've just started out life, who've just got their first job and so on? What kind of message does it send?
For us, we are a national government, right?
The national government doesn't give any right.
No, it doesn't give a right. Now, with regard to appointments made by my president or my fellow...
It's our president.
Our president and fellow members in cabinet, I would speak with regard to it. But with regard to appointments made by the Prime Minister, let the public decide. For us, you had expressed your opinion on it. The public will express their opinion. It is not for me to comment. He's part of the cabinet. He's the Prime Minister. I have collective responsibility. But for us, with regard to your opinion, with regard to public opinion on it, that is something which the public have the right to do. But with regard to this transaction per se, it has to be dealt with for us.
Have you discussed the possibility with His Excellency about the need to have a presidential commission if there is consternation at the end of the day with the
for us, the SLFP, and already I think Lakshman Yapa had made a statement to that regard. There has to be a transparent mechanism in looking into this transaction, and a presidential commission would be a very good option with regard to its independence, because this division in co, right? It could be tainted with regard to its independence. However, His Excellency the President has a greater responsibility with regard to this transaction to bring the perpetrator who is responsible, and there is a legal independent mechanism which is vested with His Excellency the President, And I believe that he should utilize that mechanism.
You've no doubt pointed this out to him.
I mean, I'm just a member of the...
Yes, but you're a legal man.
I'm a legal man, obviously, as a lawyer. And also, it's not my view alone for us. It's majority of the members of the SLFP.
Yes, but I'm trying to find out whether you've actually told the president that pointed this out.
For us, as a lawyer,
is it
as a
privileged
legal,
information?
it is privileged information.
Right. In that case, you know, in that case,
I mean, whatever communique I make to His Excellency the President, it would be a
I thought that you may want to share with us, because on this program, once in a way
for us, but when I put it in a broader perspective, that the SLFP per se, it is not whether I advised or X or Y, but the Sri Lankan Freedom Party has appealed to the President that there is a need for an independent mechanism to go into the transaction, and His Excellency is vested with the power to appoint that mechanism.
Thank you for that explanation, even though you've stopped short of revealing your conversation with His Excellency. Let me take you back, because time and airtime is ever so precious.
I'm sorry, Faraz.
And let me. We want to tell you, Faiz, I don't know whether you've really fully appreciated the level of happiness that the government program spreads around this country.
I've been a part of it, for us. I know so.
And do you follow it on
I do. I mean,
the
the transformation which you all have done, and you all have gone to places where no politician would go to, and the social responsibility and the commitment of your team. I mean, we as politicians are more active during elections, but you all take your social responsibility very seriously, and for a channel to go to the masses, identify their problems, and also give the solutions.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it.
That
normally,
you hit the nail right on the head.
What channels do, what the media they do, they point out, they report, and stop short on that. But you all have taken it one step further. Not only have you all identified the problems, you all have given the solution as well. You all have found the solutions.
I'm trying to join a team in the North Central Province in Anuradhapura. And I think we have online we have little CEOs for each sort of project, or for a series of projects. And on the line is the young Chaturanga Hapuarachi from Anuradhapura. Good morning to you, Chaturanga.
Good morning, Faraz. Good morning.
And can you kindly tell us what you're doing? This is the 100th day of the Gammada program.
Yes, Faraz, it's indeed a happy day for everyone at Newsfirst and for the people here in the North Central Province. We have a number of projects going on in this area, and five of these locations, the residents of the villages have invited us to come to their village and to be a part of the celebrations for the Gammada 100 Day, for the 100 Day initiative. And they want mainly to express their gratitude and their appreciation to what Newsfirst, the Gammada 100 Day program, has done to their villages. Now for us, what is interesting is we have to travel about 300 kilometers up and down to go to all these 3 locations, or rather 5 locations. So it's going to be a task that is coming up ahead during the day, but we are also very happy to do this, and the people, I should say, are very enthusiastic in what they're doing, and we also feel their love and their affection when it comes to this matter.
And Chaturanga, very quickly, what do you think, what's your reaction to the news that our company has made, the announcement our company has made?
I'm sorry for that, I couldn't get that.
What's your reaction to the news that our company is carrying on with the Gammada program?
For us, to be honest, for us, when we sit there at the office and do what we do usually, we don't get to engage with the people to the extent that we get now. And from what we are seeing from down here, from the village level, people undergo many hardships to get through their normal.
Thank you.
If we can be helping them to get through their day, at least a bit easier, at least make it a bit easier for them, that I think is the greatest thing that we can do. And through the Gammada 100 Day initiative, that is what we have been able to do. And
thank you very much,
I have
Chaturanga
been very happy to be a part of it.
Thank you. That was Chaturanga Hapwarachi, part of the Gammadda program in Anuradhapura. Mr. Mustafa, while he was talking to me and talking to me about the happiness level, the satisfaction levels around the country in rural Sri Lanka amongst essentially the forgotten people, a thought occurred to me. Is there any legal mechanism in which the monies in the bond matter, if it is recovered, is there some legal mechanism where it can be transferred for the benefit of the Gammadda program?
I mean, if it goes back to the treasury could allocate it to the Gammadda program.
Indeed.
I mean, if any money is found to be ill-gotten, it obviously it will revert back to the state.
But we had the Minister of Finance in his first interim budget speech when they first came into power, thanks to President Sirisena's help, of course, when he spoke about ill-gotten gains and a special one-off tax, super gains tax. But these statements are sort of made without any basis, any legal basis. Ill-gotten gains.
I mean, there is a legal basis. If any money is ill-gotten, it should revert back to the state.
Yes, but you can't say it's ill-gotten unless it's gone through a process.
I know.
I
know. But then, as politicians, we make general statements, but it has to be followed up.
These are sort of statements made with a political flourish.
No. For us, there is a general perception that in certain quarters there is ill-gotten wealth.
Yeah.
So then, as the finance minister, it is his duty to create a mechanism to recover it. So that is what he would have
said. What about whirlwind profits?
But that
astronomical profits. Could there be a case for that?
If it is legitimate astronomical profits, it is okay.
Yeah.
Right? Because you say guys like Apple, Google.
Yeah.
I mean astronomical profits, but they made it in a legitimate way.
Correct.
But ill-gotten wealth has to be reverted back.
What about when you sit on a Sunday, perhaps, and you read the papers in the morning and you listen to the television, and you see all sorts of, and you hear and you read about all the details of various things coming along? How do you react when you know that, for example, the top corporates in this country, they employ thousands, they write out salary checks by the thousands, the hundreds of thousands, millions actually, and they employ so much of capital, all in the pursuit of their business, and they take so much of risk. And then you are confronted with the scenario of one company that has made 83% of the profits in their own little industry, employing 7 professional people and 7 others who may be professional but is not as professional as 7. But anyway, point I'm trying to make is,
Faraz, I don't agree with you, the number and the return, but it's all whether it's ill-gotten, lawful or not. If there is a company which employs 5 employees but have the capacity to have greater profits than a company which employs thousands, I mean that's commercial prudence.
You've been on the campaign trail,
yes,
and you know more than anyone else how difficult it is to convince the public of your ideology and so on, to convert that into a vote.
Right.
In that same way, how easy do you imagine it will be to convince Joe Public that one company made 83% of the profits?
That's it. The perception is, perception stinks. For us, end of the day, perception stinks. There needs a mechanism to go into this transaction and bring the perpetrators to book. But issue again is perception. Until there is a clear mechanism, there is a presumption of innocence in our law. And for us, I'm a lawyer, right? But then today, with regard to the bond issue, public perception is that something.
But this is like a shop
wrong
within a shop. Imagine that you've got a jewelry shop, and you've got a general manager to run it for you, and then he operates within that. He's got his own little client, and he's doing his little business there, and he's taking away the profit from the business. I can see that's happening in this national government. We've got this national government, we've got a party that couldn't be elected with a majority, so the president and his party have helped them to form a party, and now that they're in there, we're inside this shop, right, he's pursuing his own sort of agenda at the expense and to the detriment of the man who has a clear mandate from the people of this country, the President.
For us,
And he's not listening to him.
but my view is His Excellency the President has to take control about this issue and together with the Prime Minister have a presidential commission and investigate this because public is expecting that. For us, whatever you say,
meeting the President soon.
I meet the President quite regularly.
Do you have a meeting with him anytime soon?
No,
in the next 2 hours, 3 hours?
No, I don't. For us, I'm not that fortunate to meet him at regular intervals.
Will you kindly convey a message
Yes, I'll
from
do for us.
Newsline?
Yes, I'll do.
Would you please tell him, sir, Newsline says that we are the people who covered this from start to finish. We haven't finished here, we are ongoing coverage. But would you kindly tell him that we really want to see him exercising his powers and forming a presidential commission of
I
inquiry?
will definitely inform him about your sentiments on this issue.
Yes, please
I
convey
will do
that.
that. I will convey that.
We will,
I definitely would for us.
because I know that
I think your perception about this and the perception of the Sri Lankan Freedom Party on the same page, and definitely at a political level, the Sri Lankan Freedom Party is also asking for the same thing.
Thank you. Our perception is actually driven, because we are the people's channel, is driven by the people's concern, the people's conscience, and we do hope that the people at COPE have a conscience, because if they don't, it's sad and they should be out of politics. In the meantime, when people arrive on the show, sometimes they quite literally their socks get thrown off, quite literally. It didn't happen to you, of course, did it?
No, it didn't.
No, wonderful. Faisal Mustafa, it's absolutely delightful having you on the program.
It's always nice for us being part of your program.
And it's more so, you've got enough gumption to come on here, knowing jolly well that we're going to grill you about this COPE matter. Lots of people don't answer our call during times of consternation, but you do.
I do for us. I mean, I think it's always good to, you all have public perception, you all are very savvy about it, and it helps us also to know the sentiments of the masses.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thanks for us.
Thank you for having watched Newsline. Please follow the GovMad progress, because this is our bit, trying to make sure that the forgotten people of Sri Lanka are not quite forgotten, that we're doing them all something that will help them increase their happiness levels. On that note, take care. God bless.
News First, Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.